Welcome to Tyrompers No Limit Podcast.
What is going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in to Tyrompers No Limit Podcast. This is episode number 45. Guys, you know we're always fired up, but today we got a big time reason to be fired up. We got a man with us today that has a master's in psych. He's a retired psychotherapist, whatever that means. We're going to find out later. Turned attachment specialist. This is a man that teaches better relationships and emotional intimacy. A man that's an author, has a massive following and community on social media, an awesome on-fire dad and husband, a man I learn from and respect a lot. This is Mr. Adam Smith. Welcome to the podcast, young man. How you doing today?
Tyler, thank you for having me here, man. It's always fun. I get fired up listening to your speech, watching you on Twitter. Every time I sign in Twitter, there's Tyler, and I'm like, oh, and it feels good. You get that shot of adrenaline straight to the heart. That's what you are, man. It's amazing to be here. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're a busy man, and I want to get into that and respect your time. But can you just give anybody who follows me, I'd like to get an opportunity. I just like to highlight people that I love and learn from. And you're definitely a man that for the last couple of years, I've gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom from you. So maybe give the people like a 2-minute little elevator speech, who you are, what you're about, my man.
Sure. Thank you. I'm an attachment specialist. I teach how to bond and love each other better, especially in dating and marriage. From there, you branch out, of course, into kids, because kids can tend to come along pretty fast when you're dating or in marriage. They just tend to happen that way. They pop out. I don't know. I teach attachment all over the world. I was a psychotherapist, so I was a licensed marriage and family therapist. Terminated that license because you can't coach outside of states when you're licensed in one state. Now I coach internationally to families around the world, to couples, people, individuals, business owners, blue collar workers, anyone who wants to learn better attachment. There I am, ready to teach it. And that's what I do.
It's so amazing, man. I know you've helped so many, and the reward in that's probably great. So how do people find you? How do people reach out to you? And then do you do couples or just one-on-one or both?
Oh, sure. So my best contact is adamlanesmith.com, my big website. People hit me up there. I've got my new course out there, the Attachment Bootcamp course. It teaches you everything you need to know about bonding and connecting so you have a happier life. That's the best place to reach out and find me. I'm all over the internet, everywhere. You just look up Adam Lane Smith. I'm there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I've got, I found out I have like one of my videos on TikTok has 5 million views. It's ridiculous.
I watched a couple of your TikToks. They're funny, man. They're really good.
It's amazing, and I've got a big following over there. People are like, in 30 seconds, you can teach people love and connection. But it's just ridiculous what the internet can let you do nowadays.
Hey, it's amazing, man. Such a gift. Well, we'll link everything Adam does below too, guys. But yeah, I just you're a guy I love and want to highlight, man. So when you talk about this attachment specialist, right? So that comes from a big knowledge and a base of knowledge and studying from you for a while, and then life experience, I suppose. But give us a rundown of your own family. How many kids you got? What's your day-to-day life like, man? I'm interested in this stuff too.
yeah, good. Oh, good. So my wife and I have been together for 14 and a half years, married 13 and a half. Congrats. And we got 4 little kids, all 4 of them 6 or under. So we call them the swarm. They're our swarm. They just they hit you and then roll over you and bring you to the ground. And I'm sure we will have more, as many as my wife can birth or find or steal, or however many she can find, just ride along the road and scoop them up. I don't know, but we'll get there. That's my family life, and it's wonderful. Honestly, learning about attachment really boosts that. I didn't have great attachment myself growing up as a kid. That's something I had to fix. That's something I had to learn to apply in my marriage with my wife early on, and it has served us incredibly well through thick and thin. And then teaching it to our kids, because attachment, the way you give and receive love to other people, you connect, you attach, and then you give and receive mutual love and care. So not just one side is happy, both sides are mutually fulfilled, and you can work with each other instead of acting upon each other and pushing buttons to get your needs met, approval seeking or pulling back and telling people what to do. You can work together with your kids and build healthy attachment on purpose. Your kids are either going to learn attachment by being acted upon, because you tell them, do this, do that. I'm the dad. You have to say what I. You have to do what I say. Do this. Do as I say, not as I do. And do it and barking at your kids. That's acting upon them, or guilting them, or pressuring them. That's acting upon them. Acting with is working with them, man. Teaching them. You know exactly what I mean. Working with them, talking with them, explaining things, helping them understand the consequences of actions, not punishing them, but disciplining, so that they learn and grow in new directions, so that they can live without you someday, but won't want to. They want to live with you, but they could, if they had to, go out completely on their own. Like, that's working with your kids so that they are apprentice adults from like birth. You're just raising them up to be the people they could be. That's healthy attachment. You got to learn how to do that on purpose. It doesn't just accidentally happen. You're either going to give them secure attachment or insecure attachment. You got to pick one.
Man, that's so powerful there. And then do you mind sharing a little bit? Then you said, you didn't grow up with the healthiest of attachments. So is that why you think you're really passionate about this? And maybe early in your marriage, did you struggle with it too? And then kind of
100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. It's, I grew up in a family with generational attachment issues, grandparents, adopted, foster kids, like a lot of abuse way back in the family line. It was not good. And that filtered down through my parents' generation. They didn't know what to do, the right things to bond with kids. So it was, all right, how do we keep these kids alive long enough to become adults? And how do we figure out how to navigate our stressful lives? Stuff that a lot of parents are dealing with. And you got to do what you got to do to get through. But a lot of the good stuff got missed just because the family line didn't know it. That knowledge was gone. And so people had to go out and relearn it. I've had to go out and relearn it. So I did. I went out and I relearned, like, what does it mean to, like, why am I miserable all the time? There's got to be more than life than this. And how do I connect to people? It's like, you watch sappy movies and people are connecting and talking about their needs and they're being all friendly and like helpful. And what the heck is going on? And you learn, like, wow, healthy, secure people, some families actually do that. Like, why doesn't my family do that? Well, my family can do that in the future. So I learned and I fixed it, especially when I met my wife. She was like, dude, like, what are you doing? We got to work on this. We worked on stuff together. We fixed it. And then I said, what the heck did we just do? What did we just fix? Like, what is this? So I went to school, got my master's degree in psychology with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy, a focus on a marriage and family systems focus. 3 years of apprenticeship after that, 6 years of school, 3 years of apprenticeship under other therapists, making like fast food wages as an apprentice therapist. You got to pay out of your own pocket thousands of dollars for the privilege of being supervised. And then from there, got my own license as a marriage and family therapist, worked in the field for years. And I started learning about this thing called attachment that way back in graduate school, they had told us was not important for adults. Yeah. And it's just something little kids kind of learn. And hey, you grow out of it if you don't have problems. And most people are probably fine. And I started digging deeper, like, no, guys, there's something here. Like, all these other diagnoses we're treating, like maybe there's a unified cause underneath that's leading to all these, 100 diagnoses of mental health problems. Maybe there's a way they all come together. Started diving into attachment, and I started writing books. Then I started doing seminars for other professionals in the field, and people were coming to me to learn. Clinic directors, doctors were coming in, researchers were coming in. They were wanting to learn about attachment, the stuff that they had told us in school don't even think about because it's not important. I started training people, and then I started talking about it on the internet. People were like, dude, please, can you coach me? I will pay you I'll pay you $1,000 an hour for coaching. I was like, okay, well, let me ask. So I asked my licensing board, hey, can I coach people internationally if I'm not doing therapy? And they said, nope. If you do coaching, that is considered therapy, and you can only do therapy inside of the state where you're at. And if you do any coaching, you'll be held to the same strict boundaries as therapy. And I was like, so if I have to really choose between doing therapy for people here in this state in a clinic or coaching worldwide to teach attachment, okay, I'm going to teach attachment. So I was like, all right, man, I'm going to just chase this horse as fast as I can run. So I started chasing that horse. I jumped on his back. What's that?
How long ago was that, Adam?
Oh man, a couple of years. It was like, so I've been chasing that horse. I jumped on that horse's back. We were riding the attachment horse as hard as we can. I'm going to spread the word like Paul Revere. I'm going to spread the word to every person on earth. If you're out of America and don't get that reference, sorry about that. I want to spread that word as far as we can for attachment, because dating and marriage especially, it's the core of a healthy family. You're building a healthy family. And if you can build that into every couple, where every couple and every individual who's going to join a couple has healthy, secure attachment and can give and receive love and can work openly with other people and can get their needs met and willingly meet other people's needs. And they're not afraid of bonding or vulnerability or intimacy. They really lean into it with love. You fix every problem in society and every problem that individual will face. You'll fix the next 5 generations. Attachment is the foundation of everything else. And when you get it right, no matter where in the world you are, you get everything else, almost everything else right too. And whatever isn't perfect gets fixed by all these people working together. So that's my passion, man. It's my crusade, the attachment crusade. I got to do it. I got to get it done. I got to live it. And I got to live it at home every minute of every day. That's the process.
I love that, man. And I love that you share that you live that. It's one thing to just tell people to do it, right? But when we get a bird's eye look into your life and seeing that, I think that's what makes it really special for me. And, I hear the passion behind you when you talk about that. And I'm super passionate too. Unfortunately, man, I didn't live a lot of these things. I kept score early in my marriage, and
Yeah.
I was very selfish about getting my needs met, and would use those kind of manipulative tactics sometimes too that you talk about. And boy, it's just not a good way. And I think for men, you mentioned something in there that hit me right when you said it, being vulnerable and being willing to open up. Well, for men, we're not taught that, right? Like it's, if you see that generation of men that you just kind of put your head down, you work, you don't complain, you don't, well, it's, when I brought that side to my marriage where it was okay for me to mention to my wife, I'm kind of struggling today. I could, I don't know why. Maybe I can lean into you a little bit, and here's why, and give her then permission to kind of say the same thing to me. Right. And now we're each other's teammates. It's not like, well, I did the dishes 4 times. I don't care how you're feeling. You go do them.
Yes, exactly.
It's like working together. So is that what you kind of do to pair people to create that kind of environment of where they're building each other up constantly and open and vulnerable? And how do you get men, I guess, to open up and be vulnerable? Because that's a challenge that I face. I'll tell guys, you got to get in touch with your feelings. You got to journal. I don't do that. I'll go lift weights. And it's, there's 2 sides to it though, right?
Absolutely. Lifting weights can help decrease the anxiety, but what that's supposed to do is lower the threshold then for you to be able to reach out to other people, because now you're not terrified of reaching out. Vulnerability, men have this, and I get it too. I struggle, all of us struggle with this, is how do I reach out to other people without feeling or looking pathetic so that everybody will be like, oh, there's the weak link on our team. None of us want to be that guy. We don't want to be the dude who's like, all right, he's the one bringing the team down. We got to carry this guy. No one wants to be that guy. The way that you do that without feeling pathetic, and I tell men this, is you got to come at it with a solution. You either go to somebody finding a solution, or you're going to someone with a solution, but you have another need, and you need some comfort to get you through. Like, don't view those vulnerabilities as I'm going to mommy to save me. If you're going to your wife, no, she doesn't want you to come in, collapse, sobbing on the floor, and beg her to save you and take care of you. No, she probably doesn't want that, but she probably does actually want you to come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm having a bad day. Here's the problem. I've already got the solution to it, but man, I could just use like a top up. I could just use like some fuel in the tank. Could you give me a hug? Could you have a solution ready? Have a request ready? Like, could I get a hug? Could I get, whatever? Like, can we comfort each other? Can you give me something? Right? Like, life is hard, but boobs are soft. Like, then God gave us wives for a reason, to comfort us, give us care, like a hug, kindness, a kiss on the cheek. Oxytocin is really important. A lot of guys who are terrified of vulnerability, they are scared to death because they've never got all those bonding chemicals they're supposed to get. When you have bad attachment, your brain thinks you have to work upon other people to get your problem solved. And so your brain doesn't really develop vasopressin, which is solving problems together and bonding through the experience. Your brain doesn't get much oxytocin, which is getting comfort and care from other people. So then your brain isn't used to those things at all and doesn't say, oh, if I go to my wife, I'll get a big hug, and I will release oxytocin and serotonin and GABA and dopamine, and I will get this flood. No, your brain doesn't say that. You have to program that in through repeated exposure to your wife and her kindness. Early on, it says, why on earth would I go to my wife and get nothing out of the experience except diminishing her opinion of me by telling her I'm weak? That's what the male brain, when it's that lone wolf brain, is really saying. And then you and I are like, dude, go share your feelings with your wife. And we're like, it's the stupidest thing on earth for them to hear. They're like, dude, what the heck are you smoking? I would never do that. That is shooting myself in the foot. And it's when you learn that your brain has been programmed from birth, whether in the NICU or early on adoption, and people didn't realize what was going on, foster care, abuse, abandonment, neglect, whatever it is. When your brain learns early on that nobody has your back, nobody is going to connect with you, that you are only staying safe by being worried all the time and keeping everybody else at arm's length. If you think you're a fraud, if you think that it's just not safe to connect to people because they're not safe, whatever your brain thinks, man, you don't get all those bonding chemicals, and you have to experience real love before you can believe real love exists. It's just the way that works.
And the best way to do that is to put yourself out there. That first few times it might be uncomfortable, right? But that's where the growth happens. And what I noticed is when I started doing that to my wife and coming to her and saying, I remember just saying, like, I feel like a terrible dad when the kids wake me up, like then I'm stressed. I feel like I'm being pulled in 1,000 directions, and kind of had that solution ready. Hey, I got to wake up before the family. Even when we're on vacation, like I got to set an alarm and get up before the family. Otherwise I'm just not good, But then it's like my wife has this thing about her where she's so kind and loving, and she wants to help. She wants to be a part of the solution. Okay, we'll powwow together. How can I help do that? Can I take the kids away for the first little bit? Can we get you to the gym first? Can we get you filled up for, like, it's this cool thing where she wants to be that helper. But I was always afraid before, I think, to bring it up, because I would just view, I just got to put my head down and not be vulnerable. And I don't want her to see me weak. Right. But hey, when you kind of beat that a little bit and realize, man, they want to help you, they want to be your biggest helper. That was the cheat code for me, man. I joke now that I feel like there's two of me every day because my wife is my biggest helper,
That's awesome. I always tell people, man, if a husband is not letting his wife help, if a husband is keeping her out, what he's actually doing is two things. Number one, he's sending her constant signals that he does not want her, does not trust her, does not cherish her, does not believe she will stay with him. And number two, he is robbing her of the ability to feel trusted, safe, secure, bonded to, and like he is going to stick around with her. You're sending signals that you're going to divorce her at the drop of a hat the next time a blonde 19-year-old walks by, like a perfect 10. That's all that's keeping you together, is that a better person hasn't come along. That's the signal you are sending to your wife. If you are not giving her any kind of vulnerability, openness, bonding, connection, any of that, you're sending her all the wrong signals, and no wonder the bedroom gets so cold and stale, right?
Yeah, it's a very good point, man. Yeah, I think my wife and I were roommates at best before I started opening up. And when I tried to put on this kind of hard hat demeanor, yeah, man, of course, at the beginning, everything's great. But then, like you said, you add kids into the mix, you add tired, you add all these stressors, all these things, right? Well, if you're not a team and you're not unified, yeah, man, that kind of goes to the wayside. And then that causes more resentment on your part, because then you start to think and you create this negative cycle, right? And yeah, and now we just it's okay to say, hey, these are my needs, these are your needs. How can we best help each other, right?
Exactly. And if you do that, everything gets better. That's when the bedroom gets really warm again. And then you fix problems together, and you start doing what's called vasopressin bonding together. And then the second honeymoon, the third, the fourth, the fifth honeymoon start rolling in. People always say, oh, passion goes out of marriage. Well, yeah, if you don't renew the vasopressin bonds, when you do, it rolls right back in. And then the bedroom's great, but your brain also learns routinely that you can go to your spouse for help solving problems. And then when the big problems hit, you guys lean toward each other immediately. And instead of one of you chasing things outside of the marriage, having an affair, or just spiraling off, you guys rock because you stay together as a team. That's the secret behind the big power couples, is they spend time vasopressin bonding and solving problems together. You program that into your brain, and it works, man.
That's powerful, man. So how do you personally do that then, Adam? Because I know, okay, you got this massive social media following. You got 4 young kids under 6. I mean, we got 2, 2 and a 1-year-old now, about to be 2, and it does pull you in a million directions. So how do you and your wife make sure that you guys are getting that quality time and meeting each other's needs? What's some of the best tips you can give out there to other couples?
Man, right off the bat, oxytocin is going to be your best friend. So a lot of couples fight and bicker because they haven't oxytocin bonded in a while, which is the warmth, the care, the nurturing, the physical contact. So every single night from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on my phone is a standard programmed chime that goes off that says wife time from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. every night.
Awesome.
And everybody on my team, they all know that. They can all see that on my calendar. They can see, like, do not contact Adam. He is going to send me a message I'm not going to like, whatever it might be. And my wife and I, it's not like we're not swinging from the ceiling or nothing. It's, we sit down and we say, hey, where are you at today? We do something like this. We just say the State of the Union question is what I call it. Hey, where are you at today? 1 to 10. And what would it take to help you go up 1 point? And that's it. It's that simple. Where are you at? And how can we help you? How can we as a team help you go up just 1 point on life satisfaction today? My life satisfaction's been like 6 today. Man, okay, how can we help you go up 1 point? You don't ask why is it that low, because they'll never want to answer that question again. Hey, how, and don't go to 10, because that's impossible. Hey, what would help you go up 1 point? I was just tired today, I didn't get much sleep, and blah blah blah. Okay, hey, what can we do about that? All right, let's do that. All right, and then you implement it. So what happens is you go up 1 point by asking. You go up a second point by listening to them and committing to fix it. And you go up a third point when you actually fix as a couple. So you end up going up 3 points just by asking the person what's going on, listening to them, and implementing a solution. So it's an amazing experience. My wife and I check in with each other. And then, you know what? We sit, we snuggle under a blanket, we have some popcorn, and we drink some bubbly water or something like that. It's just silly, like dirt cheap little things you can pick up from the grocery store. And we laugh. We watch some funny movie. We really like The Fifth Element. We rewatch that over and over and over, or comedy action films, 80s films. And we just enjoy them, and we spend physical contact, leaning together for oxytocin bond. Massage on the shoulders really is a lot of oxytocin bonding. Laughing together is oxytocin bonding. Talking together about your day is oxytocin bonding. It's also a bunch of serotonin and dopamine and all kinds of crap, all the good, lovey crap. And that, honestly, evenings together is an amazing thing. If you could program that into your schedule to get from 1 hour before bedtime of remembering that you are a couple. It is game changing. I can chart you the days of my work performance based on if I got time with my wife the night before.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's powerful. And I think, when we were struggling in marriage, we were more like even those times where we would connect, we weren't very intentional about it. I was on my phone, maybe she was on hers, doing something.
Oh, that's death. Yeah, that's death, man.
So now we're weird in the sense that, dude, we hire a sitter a couple days a week. For sometimes the sitter will come 2 hours, and all we will do is hold hands and take a walk and just talk about life, right? But to me, that money is so worth it. And I even love telling our kids that now that my daughter's 7, I love her to know mommy and daddy need mommy and daddy time, and I think that's important to be that role model that our kids can see and know that that's normal. Like you mentioned, that can solve all the problems in the world. On fire families and dealing with all these attachment issues, that can really, if you look at every statistic across the board, from crime to rape to fatherlessness and these not present homes, man, that's where it all stems back to.
If you are a present father who gives love to your children and checks in with them to make sure they are perceiving that love, and you build a healthy relationship with your wife, and you make sure they see that healthy relationship with your wife, and you talk about it, and you build a self-correcting family system where everyone can come with to each other if you've got a problem and talk about it and fix it together instead of yelling at each other or being silent about it. You build that, man, you are powering the next 5 generations to get through whatever they're going to get through. If there's a freaking cataclysm, if AI rises up, we got to fight the Terminators, if aliens invade, whatever it is, you have made your progeny stronger for the future generations. Your descendants will thank you when they have climbed the empire and then they've established their colony on Mars. They will look back and be like, hey, that dude, he worked his butt off at his desk job. He hated it. He had a social media job, and then he advanced into this thing. But dude, best thing he did was build this family with real, genuine love, and his presence and his focus on us. That's the best thing you can do. All the other crap, man, like kids can go up and get a great job. They can make $1 million even if they grow up in a trailer park. Your kids can get just about anything else from this world except the love and the attachment and the bonding that they need from a parent. That's the one thing that we can really offer them, and everything else should be secondary to that.
Man, I love that, dude. That hits pretty hard, because sometimes you do feel pulled in a bunch of directions, but there's nothing more important. And my wife and I, when we have that kind of time at the end of the day, a lot of times our kids go to bed. We'll even say that a lot together. We're holding each other or whatever, and we're just saying we're both exhausted, but we poured into our kids today, and that we chased them around the park for 2 hours. We took them to a playland. We took them to swim lessons. We got them to dance. We were there for all of it. We're encouraging and we can feel good about that at the end of the day, because we'll never get this time back, And so I do think that's a good advice to all parents out there, that you do. There are chores, bills, responsibilities, deadlines, meetings.
Yeah.
Of course, all these things are going to drain you, but just try and be as present as you can all the time with your kids, man. They need that, right?
Absolutely, man. One of the best things I do with my kids is I sit down and we turn on Scooby-Doo. It's like 22 minutes, 23 minutes with the songs. And 2 of them will pile on my lap with a little blankie. Even in the summertime, I'm like sweating to death. And the other one's dog pile around me. And it's like this clump of humans piled. and we all watch some episode of Scooby-Doo from 1969 that we've all seen 500 times. And we watch the same stupid Scooby-Doo episode again, and the kids just like are sponges on me. And I can feel the warmth radiating into my body. And when I get up, they are they're so happy. Their behaviors are better for the next few hours because they bonded with me and got that reassurance, that connection, that love. They will treat each other better. They will listen to their mother better. I go work in my office and I'm buzzing for a few hours. I feel that warmth in my heart and all the way down to your toes. You're like, I don't know why, but I feel better right now. Did I just drink some coffee? Like, this is amazing. And then a couple hours go by and you start like, man, I'm kind of dragging. So I go hug my kids again. Like, all right, let's go play outside in the yard. Let's play Frisbee in the yard for a couple hours, or a couple minutes even, like a half hour of kicking a soccer ball. Like, here's my lunch hour. Let's play soccer out in the yard for a half hour. And we do, and we high five. The research actually shows that high-fiving a kid will make their performance on everything better than if you praise them. Verbal praise is like, it's okay, but like a literal high five, I high five my kids all the time, every time, because it's physical contact and oxytocin, like, feels good, and they love it, man. So that in the middle of the day, like, the tank is flying high, things are good. End of the night, right? You're reading stories, you're talking to them over the dinner table. Hey, how was your day? Tell me about your day. You're asking them questions, so you're showing you're interested in them, and they're like, and they won't stop talking. I will sit at the head of my table. I'm trying to eat, and I'm looking at my kids. One of them is right here talking at me. Another one is over here talking at me. The other kid is over here talking at me, and my wife is just looking at me like, because all three of them are talking at different things, and I just take turns. I just scan back and forth over the three of them and like check in with how their conversations are going. And they love it. And then they're like, and they're super happy, and then they're better at bedtime. And if I miss Scooby-Doo in the morning, if I miss that lunchtime rush where we're playing and having fun, or if I miss that dinner time piece and I'm not listening to them and giving them attention, the behaviors are rougher. Mom's got to like put them in timeout to check out from their overstimulated brains. They're fighting each other. They're clubbing each other with toys, or, it's mine. No, it's mine. And they're bickering. And you can see it like on a delay of just a couple hours if they get that time with you, or if they don't get any time. Like, that bonding is, if you want better kids, man, anyone listening to this, if you want better kids, you are getting the kids you are making. Put the time in and you will get better kids, and they will get a better adulthood. That's just the way that game goes.
Yeah, I think that's the best privilege we can give our kids, right? Is just our presence and being there. And I love that high five, man. That's cool. I didn't know that, but I think my wife and I probably do high five our boys. We just taught them that, they're wanting to, teaching them, we're high fiving all the time. And our daughter, we're always encouraging her. And my wife has a joke. I'm laughing as you say that. They just talk like, we're eating dinner and, we'll pick her up from school. We'll come home. She'll get a snack, and we're sitting there asking her about her day. And it's like, take a breath, kid. Take a breath. She's just firing off, every little thing that happened with every kid, with every, but they feel heard then, I think, that's a big piece to that, man. That's amazing.
Two pieces of this. Number one, man, my son loves it. So we play like video games. We play like Pokemon on a video game system. I don't know if I can run a commercial for that, but like the Nintendo Switch, we'll be like playing Pokemon on the TV. And he's like, Dad, this is awesome. And every time we like win a fight, we high five. We're like, dude, we did it. And he'll tell me the moves to use, and we will get through the fight together, so to speak. He's not quite there yet, but almost. I'm training him. And we will high five every time. We're like, dude, we beat that dude's Pokemon. Yeah, they're pathetic. Oh, we'll high five. And it's got to the point where like he wants to high five me every single time. And if we go a week or two without playing video games, we jump in. The moment it's time to high five, he's like, you're like ready, man. Like he doesn't want to miss it. So we high five it's like, it is awesome. So deeply ingrained in him. He craves it. And we're not just sitting and like mindlessly staring at a video game that way. We're like, dude, and we're playing it and we're high fiving and enjoying the experience together. And second part of that, man, like most guys don't high five their own wife. Like, think about this. Like, how many couples do you see like literally high five when they do something together as a team? Like, wife pulls off a great day where she manages the house and it's sparkling by the end of the day. Then you pull off a great day and you get like the biggest sale of your life. And whatever it is, how many couples high five? Most couples just like, hey, did this today. Oh, great job, babe. And that's it. Like, no, stop. Take the time. Freaking like high five each other. Celebrate a little bit. That skin to skin contact, like the vasopressin bonding, the oxytocin, like all the chemicals. Like a high five is one of the best things a human being can do. I'm pretty concerned, or pretty convinced. A high five is one of the best things on earth.
I like that,
So
man. It's huge.
dudes at home, start high-fiving your own wife. She
It's a
will
good
be
tip,
confused
man.
at first,
I
and then
think
she'll love it.
if my wife were to hear this, she'd laugh because I usually go for the low five. I'm grabbing that booty as she goes by, but she
That
probably
is on the
appreciates some
return.
days the high
That's
five
right.
more,
You high five, then she turns away, and then you pounce like a jungle predator. Exactly. Oh no, that's the right thing. That is, because that in itself, oxytocin bonding, man.
That's awesome. Well, brother, I could sit here and chat with you about this stuff for probably about 15 hours. So maybe we could just get you back on at some point, man. But I
Oh,
love
dude.
collaborating with you. I love getting to hear, your wisdom and you sharing a lot of this knowledge with us. So I really appreciate you coming on today, Adam. Thank you, man.
Man, thank you for having me here. This was great.
Thanks, man. Any last words you want to give the viewers? And again, guys, we're going to link everything Adam does below. Please reach out to this man. Give him a follow on social. Give him a follow on all of his networks. Go visit his website. It's amazing too, man. You got whoever's running that website does a great job, brother. Yeah,
Thank you, man. Thank you. I got guys that do that for me. I will say this. It's going to sound like a shameless plug, but bear with me. I just released a new video course called the Attachment Boot Camp. And when I made it, I was thinking like, this would be great for individuals to sit and watch like 7 hours of video. Like, here's attachment. Here's how it gets broken. Here's how to fix it in you. Here's how to fix it in your relationships. Here's how to fix it in your marriage. Here's how to build it with your kids. Like start to finish attachment. And I was thinking individuals will love this. This will be great. And I started marketing it. And then couples started asking me like, how do I learn attachment with my husband? How can we do something together where we can actually work together? How can we learn? And I'm like light bulb, like, dude, watch this course together, get some popcorn. First of all, you're gonna have to snuggle while you watch the course. Watch the course together and watch these videos together. You will learn about attachment. Learn about attachment as a couple. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. Learn about attachment and fix it together. And it will bond you like human super glue. It will be an incredible experience. Fix your attachment and do it in the context of building a legacy. Like, let's do these things for our kids. Let's build healthy bonds as a family. Let's fix the problems that our parents gave us. Let's fix all these issues and do that as a family for the legacy. It's one of the most powerful things a couple can do together. I've seen couples come back from affairs and all kinds of crap when they actually fix their attachment together. So if anyone there is listening and is thinking, oh, maybe I have some of these attachment things, it's never too late to fix it. Start fixing it together as a couple. You guys will be better than ever.
Man, I love that. And that's how we change the world, right? I always say that to everybody, man. Even if business is going great, financial, my fitness and health, everything else is going great. But if me and my wife aren't feeling really connected, none of it seems to matter, And so I always go back to starting there, man. So I appreciate that a lot, man. Well, brother, thank you so much for coming on, man, and blessing us with your presence. I really appreciate you guys. We're going to link Adam's course below too, man, and reach out to this man. Give him follows on social. And, I just, again, man, I'm grateful to learn from you and grateful that you come on today, man. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother, for having me here. I'd love to come again.
All right, man. Well, that's a promise, man. I'm going to hold you to that. All right, guys, this is Tyrompers No Limit podcast episode. I think 45, could be 46, 47. We're not really sure, but you know what? We appreciate you guys tuning in. Be kind to yourselves today. Go bless, be kind to your spouse. If you're listening to this, go give her a nice message, a high five, a hug, go do something kind to her. Let's be kind to everybody, man. Let's change the world one random act of kindness at a time. Go have a blessed day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.